Nora Bennett, a dedicated florist with calloused hands from years of tenderly arranging peonies and roses, was not someone accustomed to villa tours or exclusive events. However, today was special. Clutching a modest handbag, she arrived at the gates of a prestigious vineyard, her heart a lively mix of trepidation and excitement. It was a visit meticulously saved for, thanks to a heartfelt birthday gift from Charlene, her childhood friend. Despite her efforts to match the elegance of the occasion by donning a thrifted dress she hoped was understatedly stylish, Nora felt her simplicity stand stark among the other elegantly dressed guests. As she stepped into the tasting room, she was greeted by lush vistas of vineyard stretching beyond sight and the intoxicating aroma of maturing wines. Trying to melt into the background, Nora let the opulence wash over her senses. She eagerly awaited the start of the wine tasting, determined to make her friend Charlene proud and savor the experience fully. When the tasting began, she listened intently to the descriptions, the sommelier's rich voice weaving a tapestry of flavors. Yet, when her turn came, she faltered, mispronouncing Chardonnay as Chardonnay. A sharp, derisive laugh cut through the soft clatter of glasses. The vineyard's manager, an immaculately dressed woman with frost in her voice, seized the moment to mock Nora's misstep. "Perhaps you're more suited to beer than wine, dear," she quipped, her voice echoing with a chill that drew eyes from all corners. Laughter and whispers from the guests rippled through the room. Crimson-cheeked and stinging from the rawness of her embarrassment, Nora's pulse quickened as she stood rooted in a moment that seemed to stretch endlessly, painfully aware of how unwelcome and small she had been made to feel. The low hum of whispers merged with the delicate clinking of glasses, forming a symphony of discomfort that wrapped around Nora like a suffocating fog. With a mumbled apology, she slipped past the row of amused faces and made her way out of the tasting room. Her heart thrummed a frantic beat, each humiliation-infused thud echoing her regret for daring to step out of the comfort zone she knew so well. Once outside, the crisp air hit her cheeks, grounding her senses, yet doing little to alleviate the bitter sting inside. She sank onto a bench nestled between rows of lavender bushes, their calming fragrance a stark contrast to her internal turmoil. Nora's mind drifted, replaying the mortifying scene. She felt disappointed, exhaustingly so. All the while, she had anticipated celebrating her small victories, her milestones, something she had always put off due to life's many demands. Her thoughts wandered deeper, her memories forming a vivid tapestry of perseverance. From the tender age of 7, Nora had helped her mother tend to their flower garden, the vibrant blooms their shared escape amidst life's trials. Her mother's voice, soft yet firm, resonated in her mind, words of encouragement and the assurance that beauty could be savored, even amid hardship. While other children played carefreely, Nora learned the delicate art of floral arrangement, working alongside her mother in their tiny shop on the corner. The shop wasn't much, but it was theirs, a sanctuary filled with nature's colors and scents, a testament to Nora's endurance through harsh seasons and lean years. She recalled early mornings spent huddled in scarves, her breath forming icy clouds as she diligently arranged the day's bouquets. Each mingled fragrance and vibrant petal had been a step closer to her dream, a moment of unadulterated joy, such as the one she had hoped to experience today. Nora's modest aspirations were supported by nights spent poring over second-hand flower arranging books and afternoons perfecting her skills with hand-me-down tools. The promise she made to herself was simple, as she turned off the shop lights each evening, that one day, she would allow herself a little indulgence, a moment to step beyond her world of petals and leaves. And now, when that promise was crushed so publicly, the pain festered, a wound deepened by longing and realization. The vineyard visit, suggested by her beloved friend Charlene, was meant to be a gesture of liberation, a celebration of Nora turning 35, of enduring all the storms life tossed her way with unwavering dauntlessness. Yet, the vineyard's effusive charm seemed woven to exclude her, each dazzling detail whispering her obscurity. Nora watched the sun's golden glow drifting across the vineyards, turning everything to warm amber, her mind a whirl of what-ifs and whys. Despite her resentment, the allure of the landscape momentarily distracted her from the sharp undercurrent of recent events. Even if the dream lay shattered at her feet, Nora's strength, a quiet resolve that winters had only fortified within her, stirred. She longed to rise above the hurt, refusing to let the day's events define her. She understood deeply that a single soul's harshness did not own the right to strip her joy or belittle her aspirations. Her reverie was shaken by a compassionate voice. "Are you okay?" A woman, someone who had stood at the vineyard's fringes, approached. There was genuine concern etched across her face. Nora nodded, offering a faint, grateful smile. "I'm fine, truly. Just needed a moment. The vineyard is beautiful, isn't it?" The woman sat next to Nora, her presence a quiet support. "It is, though the beauty fades when kindness does," she replied softly. "I'm sorry for what happened." The simplicity and sincerity in those words eased a part of Nora's tightening composure. "Thank you," Nora said softly. "It's easier to brush it off knowing not everyone saw me as just a joke." The woman nodded knowingly. It takes a lot to stand in your truth in such places, especially when others fail to see beyond their prejudices. Nora felt a shared understanding in the woman's quiet words, a ripple of solidarity that moved through the air like the gentle lavender breeze. Her spirit, though bruised, gathered this comfort, acknowledging this kindness as the first patch of healing woven into her day's unraveling cloth. A change slowly unfurled within her, an awareness that her choice to be here, to chase a piece of dream, was still valid. Closing her eyes for a brief moment, she let go of the lingering embarrassment. Instead, she held on to the reassurance that beyond today's scorn existed her truth, her resilience, and a chance to stand again with renewed determination. Rising from the bench with a quiet strength claiming her steps, Nora prepared to make her way back to the world she knew, her resolve reshaping itself amidst the challenges she faced. The petals of her resolve unfurled, turning this bitter narrative into a seed for change, each step drawing from an inner essence of courage so vividly inherited. As she strolled past the vineyard's side entrance, her attention was caught by muffled voices carrying the weight of secrets best left unspoken. She paused, her heart finding an odd rhythm amid the solitude of the earthen pathway, intrigued by a conversation that would soon ripple with unforeseen change. Nora lingered near the side entrance, her curiosity piqued by the hushed conversation filtering through the slightly ajar door. Instinctively, she moved closer, drawn by a sense of intrigue coupled with the resolve to uncover truths beneath the vineyard's opulent surface. Her heart, still echoing the earlier humiliation, now beat with a renewed sense of purpose. The voices, belonging to two vineyard workers hidden from view, revealed troubling details that made Nora pause. "I'm telling you, it's ridiculous," a male voice grumbled. "They keep cutting corners to save money. The fire escapes have been padlocked during events. Imagine if there was an emergency." A female voice chimed in quietly, "And the chemicals, you know they shouldn't be that close to the tasting rooms. One spill and it's over." Nora's mind sharpened as she absorbed these revelations. Her eyes scanned the area, falling upon a set of barrels stacked haphazardly, with faint chemical odors wafting towards her. The irony of such neglect contrasted sharply with the vineyard's pretentious facade, a reality unknown to its unsuspecting patrons. Her breath caught, sensing the gravity of these hidden dangers and the hypocrisy overshadowing the vineyard's luxurious promise. Nora captured a discreet photograph of the improperly stored chemicals along with a shot of doors that should have been emergency exits but were bound by rusty chains. The injustice and hypocrisy she witnessed fueled a determination to act, replacing her earlier embarrassment with a compelling drive to right what was clearly wrong. She took a moment to collect her thoughts and review what she had in her phone, the evidence nestling within her grasp, tangible proof of neglect that called for exposure. Inside her, the shy florist took a step back, allowing a voice of advocacy to nudge forward, a side of herself, perhaps long dormant but now roaring to life with an insistence that shook her core. Her fingers trembled slightly, adrenaline coursing through her. Nora crafted an articulate email, attaching the photos and clearly detailing what she had witnessed. Her recipient, Alex Rivera, a formidable journalist renowned for investigative pieces that championed consumer protection and outed negligent practices. Nora recalled Rivera's impactful articles, recalling how each line inspired accountability within the establishment. Her message was worded carefully. Mr. Rivera, I hope this finds you well. Today, I had an experience at Vineyard's name, which I found rather troubling. While trying to recover from a personal misstep during a wine tasting, I stumbled upon some concerning practices that I felt compelled to report. Attached are a few photographs I discreetly took that depict chemical barrels improperly stored near public areas and doors almost deliberately obstructed. The staff conversation I inadvertently overheard confirmed that the management often cuts safety corners, which poses significant risks. I'm not typically one to step into such issues, but this seems like more than an oversight. I believe it deserves attention and that your platform could influence positive change here. Thank you for your time and consideration. Kind regards. Nora Bennett. Taking a deep breath, Nora sent the email, releasing it into the world with a hope that justice, or at least attention, could remedy the deceptions she had unearthed. As she walked away from the vineyard, the weight she initially carried was replaced by an empowering sense of agency, a belief that speaking out, even quietly at first, could ripple outward and affect the world where silence once reigned. Upon returning to her small shop, Nora nestled into its comforting familiarity. As the sun dipped below the horizon, coloring the room in soft amber hues, she found solace in arranging a simple bouquet. Yet, beneath the calm surface of her routine, she cultivated an awareness, a sharpened vigilance awakening in her senses, interwoven with the delicate sense of earth and bloom. In the days that followed, Nora felt the quiet vigilance grow as she watched for any sign of the world's response to her brave act. Each snap of a box and opening of a flower conjured anticipation, the thrill of waiting not just for flowers to bloom but for her truth to take root and see the light. At first, the moments dragged slowly, each petal handled between mild anxiety and unwavering hope. Her reluctance soon turned to quiet confidence as she recalled past stories of communal strength. Stories her mother once told her when skies seemed gray. Then, one afternoon, amidst the routine bustle of her shop, her phone buzzed once more with energy, a message notification that could redefine her initial step forward. The subject read, "Your tip-off, taking it further," signed by Alex Rivera. Nora's fingers hovered over the phone's screen, her heart alight with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Opening the email, she read Rivera's response, noting the journalist's interest in her story and thanks for trusting his platform. His commitment to pursuing the vineyard's truth and ensuring public awareness lifted her spirit more firmly than she anticipated. Nora, the letter concluded with remarkable warmth, "Your courage is the kind we need to expose such injustices. You've given us the start we need. I'll keep you updated on how this unfolds." Nora placed her phone softly on the counter, her heart alight with a newfound strength. The florist glanced around her shop filled with flowers bowing in greeting, companions on this quietly brave journey she had embarked upon, knowing their hidden thorns offered their own kind of natural protection. The words she read and the actions she took fortified her resolve, ever blooming in the power of one voice standing for more. Days transitioned into a series of anticipative mornings, with each sunrise casting its glow through the narrow windows of Nora's flower shop. As Alex Rivera's story gained traction, rippling through the close-knit community and beyond, Nora's delicate involvement with the vineyard's truth began to unfurl like a beautifully complex bloom, drawing eyes and hearts alike. The vineyard scandal broke wide open with Rivera's article, its revelations sending shockwaves through both local and broader communities. Comment sections of online platforms buzzed with empathy, outrage, and gratitude. Many commenters shared stories of facing similar dismissiveness within luxury spaces, revealing a tapestry of voices that had long been silenced by prestige's exclusivity and overlooked negligence. Public outrage swelled, palpable in both words and actions. People who once felt isolated in their experiences began flooding social media with anecdotes, each echoing a similar sentiment of empowerment, that speaking up came with a newfound courage. Hashtags emerged, gaining momentum as the public rallied around themes of accountability and customer dignity. Underneath the veneer of vineyard vines, a groundswell of support and change was burgeoning. At the heart of this social awakening stood Nora, an unassuming florist who, through the quiet delivery of truth, had rallied a community into action. Her initial surprise morphed into grounded resolve as people reached out to express solidarity. Messages and letters from both strangers and familiar faces poured in, taking root in the shared space of her little shop. They came not just in words but in gestures, like a mysterious delivery of vibrant daffodils with a note that simply read, "Thank you for your courage." As Rivera's investigation delved deeper, the authorities took swift, decisive action. Local regulatory agencies, spurred by public demand and diligent investigative coverage, conducted a thorough inspection of the vineyard. What they uncovered further vindicated Nora's actions. Clear violations and a severe neglect of safety regulations revealed how deeply rooted the issues were. The prestigious vineyard stood exposed, unable to hide behind its reputation as systemic flaws and mismanagement were brought to light. Following health safety protocols, news broke of the vineyard's temporary shutdown pending extensive renovations and compliance checks. The announcement was broadcast over news channels, and within days, a conspicuous sign replacing the usual grapevine insignia informed visitors of necessary improvements ahead. The symbolic padlocked doors now represented a significant shift towards transparency and reformation. The vineyard's management scrambled to issue a public statement, though their damage control efforts did little to quell public discontent. Their attempts to downplay both the allegations and the incident itself were met with skepticism. Undeterred, the vineyard was forced to reevaluate its policies, driven by necessity and public pressure. The manager, whose harsh words had punctuated Nora's vineyard visit, faced suspension, her initially flippant attitude amended by company reviews and a new understanding of their policy's impact and significance. Disciplinary actions within the vineyard's top brass hinted at tangible change, though a cultural overhaul clearly awaited. Nora, amidst the unfolding narrative, received a myriad of support and gratitude from various quarters. Her local community championed her actions, framing her story in Florence's flower shop window. It became a beacon of spirited justice, demonstrating that every person mattered, regardless of social standing. As a fresh stream of simple customers shared their stories of silent endurance, Nora found kinship in their unspoken bond. Finally, those who had felt invisible found representation, sparking deeper commitments within society to work towards fairer treatment across customer experiences. Her singular action had catalyzed a broader movement, instigating quick ripples that sought to re-anchor integrity within societal avenues. Broad advocacy groups began to reference Nora's story as a case study, her brevity in standing up for her principles indirectly building bridges over silenced gaps. They reached out, eager to amplify the message and lay frameworks designed to integrate respectful service and accountability into hospitality's core business ethos. With this transformation, Nora saw a reclaiming of her dignity, quietly fortifying her presence. Whether it be in the gentle nod of a passerby or the respectful inquiries from media outlets eager to capture her thoughts, her voice resonated deeply, though never overpowering her dedication to remaining grounded in purpose. In the reflective space of her shop, adorned with whispers of solidarity and resilience, Nora found herself buoyed by an era newly defined by unity and dignity, a tomorrow promising inclusivity that she had helped initiate. As her story resonated outward, bringing light to corners once overshadowed, she realized her petals of strength and hope had found collaborative soil. The flowers she curated daily, each bud tendered with analogies of patience and rhythm, stood testament to the seasons of life, each needing its share of care and vigilance. Her actions birthed a transformative energy that enacted cultural echoes, assured that the path she wandered with humility had sparked something genuinely luminous. From simple bouquets came impactful symbols of change, her garden of insistence now a collective field of blooming advocacy. As the vineyard began its penance through renovation, a small corner of the world knew personal redemption wasn't all rooted in material wealth but sometimes, in the willingness of a quiet florist to challenge norms and champion honesty, a powerful reminder that the true worth of an establishment lay not solely in prestige but in the principles it dared to uphold. The days that followed the vineyard's closure were marked by a tapestry of changes, both subtle and significant. Nora Bennett's life gently interwove with the currents of transformation sweeping through her community. With each sunrise, Nora stepped into her little flower shop, basking in the familiarity of stems and scents, yet carrying herself with an undeniably renewed sense of purpose. Although her daily routine did not outwardly change, there was a discernible shift in how she engaged with her surroundings. Her interactions carried a newfound assurance, a quiet bravado that lent an air of contentment and dignity. One morning, after having just unlocked the shop's entrance and carefully set a batch of fresh tulips in the window, Nora found an envelope slipped beneath the door. Her fingers brushed over the sturdy paper, curiosity piqued. Inside, she discovered a neatly typed letter, sealed with the emblem of the city's Consumer Affairs Department. The letter, penned with warmth and appreciation, extended profound thanks for the role Nora played in illuminating vital truths within the Vineyard. As her eyes scanned the elegant script, a modest smile played at the corner of her lips. "We commend your bravery and commitment to public well-being," the letter stated, underlining a gratitude that echoed well beyond its words. Further still, came an unexpected invitation, a request for Nora to speak about her experience at a women's empowerment symposium. The prospect was daunting, her instinctive humility made her pause, yet the opportunity to inspire others was a pull she could not ignore. Buoyed by support, Nora gracefully accepted, deciding to share the narrative of courage and change sown from quiet places often overlooked. Her tale, she hoped, would underline the power each individual held to impact societal circles, the petals of change blooming from even the softest whisper. Nora's community rallied around her newfound stature. Clandestine looks of admiration and friendly nods reminded her of the impact she'd unwittingly orchestrated. In moments of quiet reflection among flowers, the shop seemed to hum with camaraderie and potential, gifts extended and accepted in equal measure. Amidst the wave of positive energy, Nora received a conciliatory gesture from the Vineyard, a letter of apology, laced with regret over the incident that had marred her visit. The Vineyard expressed intentions for reformation, an attempt to mend and heal the rift. Nora contemplated their words, sipping on warm tea as the afternoon lights softened the room. She chose to move on with grace, allowing the Vineyard's contrition to be a step toward their own redemption, a path she decided not to tread back upon, finding peace in leaving the past behind while wishing them better in their change journey. This decision, made with gentle resolve, was one that acknowledged her part had been played, well and fully, her story now a starting point for another's change. The promise of this new beginning became manifest in simple joys, moments like a parent buying blooms for a child's dance recital or the scent of meadow freshness weaving through busy afternoons. These moments served as constant reminders of the beauty to be found in authenticity and resilience, coaxing smiles and letting laughter follow unburdened paths. It was on one such morning, while carrying out routine deliveries along the familiar cobblestone paths, that Nora was drawn past the Vineyard's entrance once more. She paused to observe the bustling sight, now a hive of activity, workers carrying out long overdue safety enhancements amid scaffolding and fresh paint. A newly minted sign near the gate read, "Committed to safety and inclusivity," an emblem of their evolving ethos. It brought a gentle sense of closure to Nora, who saw the promise of thorough change lived out in tangible efforts, actions that entwined her own notes of conviction into their narrative. The Vineyard's gradual transformation was a testament to her voice, a shift from the harsh derision she once faced into alignments of respect and openness. A community garden in its infancy, taking root and thriving. The closing chapters of this journey were etched into the quiet solitude of her flower shop. As patrons came and went, leaving trails of warmth and friendly conversation, Nora's heart swelled with a fulfillment once imagined but now realized. Evenings found her softly humming as she watered the potted flowers lined against the tiny windows, soaking in the day as ambient warmth nestled itself around her. Her home, a sanctuary braided with laughter and shared moments, underscored the legacy birthed from steadfast integrity. Within the peace of twilight, as Nora wrote her reflection for the upcoming symposium, she found herself contemplating the narrative woven through her life, a story etched strongly with courage and interwoven with community. The bedrock of blooms upon which her life was built bore testament to days when quiet whispers begot irrefutable echoes. Her journey strengthened the belief that status never measured worth, but that authenticity held the true weight of grace. Her courage in the face of adversity lit the way forward not just for her, but for all who resonated with her story, each echo maintaining its own depth. On the final page of her reflections, Nora tenderly penned words she hoped others would hold close, just as the warm light of morning gently cradled her bustling flower shop, a haven strengthened by the constancy of love received and given. In this renewed existence where petals and prose intertwined, grace brought persistent bloom, nurturing the seeds of tomorrow formed in tenacity and truth. For Nora Bennett, the quiet strength within was not just enough but profoundly transformative, a flame kindling change and reverberating empathy through fragrant simplicity.